Hey there everybody, it's Chris and I'm back to show you a negative space pour tonight. This is a 12 by 24 canvas. It is the gallery style canvas that is the thicker edge. I really love to use this style of canvas. It's a little bit more money, but I feel like it really looks like a piece of art when I'm finished. I've started with a base coat of Artist Loft white and water and Floetrol. And I just thin that down so that it's a nice runny consistency, and I've gone ahead and coated my canvas so that you didn't have to watch all of that. And I want to go for kind of a softer color tonight, so I'm thinking that I'm going to try layering white paint in between my colors so that hopefully I get a little bit softer look. And then may do a little bit of blowing with a straw. We'll see how it all comes out. But so I've got my canvas all prepped, starting with a little 5-ounce cup. I've put a little bit of WD-40 silicone spray in there just so that my paints will release. And I'll start by using my Artist Loft white paint. This has my pouring medium in it, which is 4 cups of Floetrol, a cup of Glue All, a half a cup of Liquitex pouring medium, and a 1/4 cup of water. I keep that pre-mixed and then I mix my paints in with it. This is Lemon Yellow from Soho, once again mixed with my pouring medium. So I'm just going to go ahead and layer my white in between each color with the hopes of keeping it a little bit softer, and then also that should keep the colors from muddying up as well. This is Mineral Blue. This is also a Soho paint that's mixed with the same pouring medium. So all of my paints I pre-mix and keep in condiment bottles, which makes it really super easy for me just to do a quick painting. This is Deep Violet. This is a Liquitex Basics paint. And you don't usually need a whole lot for your negative space pours for the color, because you kind of want your, the whole purpose of it is to keep the white showing. This is Emerald Green. I can't remember for sure what brand this is. I believe it might be Amsterdam. And put some more white in there. And then the last color is Medium Magenta, and this is a Liquitex Basics as well. And honestly, that's probably about enough paint for what we need to do. It's not a ton, but it's a fairly small canvas. I'm just going to put a little bit of white on the top so that what floats out first is the white. And then I like to pour from the corner over, kind of to do it like an arc. I know some people kind of go in the middle, but I kind of prefer the arc. And I guess that's what I'm most comfortable with, so that's what I'm going to stick with. So I'm just going to go ahead and flip this guy over onto the canvas. And you can see that I've got a little bit of color seeping out here around the cup, and that's okay. And I'm just going to find a push pin real quick so that we can puncture that cup, and that'll help the paint to flow out of the cup across the canvas. I apologize, I didn't have my pen ready to go before I started the video. And you can see, since I've used the silicone spray, you can see that the paint's releasing from the cup. So I'm just going to kind of let that sit there for a minute and then make sure we've got most of the paint running down, which I can actually see on the edges of the cup. I can see that the paint has released. So I'm going to go ahead and puncture a hole. And we'll do 2 holes in the bottom of the cup. I always hang on to the cup because once you puncture that hole, sometimes it can really start flowing, and you don't want it to all puddle out on the edge of your canvas and not be able to get across. So I'm just going to go ahead and gently let this lift up. The trick to a negative space pour is that you don't really want to let the paint or let the cup scrape on your canvas. So the idea is to let the paint come out on its own and just kind of help guide it along. And I like to do a little bit of an arc, and then I kind of go up and down. I don't want to do just a straight line. I want it to have a little bit of interest, and even when we start to tip it, it will kind of follow those same lines. So, and I'm just going to kind of go up here to the corner, and that's all the paint. So it all came out really nicely. Just going to set this over to the side. It is definitely very soft colors. You can see all the white in with it, and I've already got a little bit of cell action coming up through. with my paint. I don't use any silicones in my paint. The only silicone that's in there is just that little bit that was in the bottom of the cup so that the paint will release. It's kind of pretty colors. I think it's going to be nice and soft. I think it'll actually be quite pretty. So I usually let it sit just a little bit. I've got a few bubbles here that, because my white was just newly mixed, so you can just use a toothpick and kind of pop those. A lot of times they'll pop on their own as well. So I don't worry too much about that until I'm done moving my paint around. So I'm going to go ahead and start tipping this, and I kind of want to pull this back down a little bit because I didn't quite get as much down here as what I would like. So we'll just pick this guy up and see if we can get it to move a bit. And I just kind of want to stretch that paint out, and I go nice and gentle. I don't want to do any really severe tipping right now. I just kind of want to get that paint moving, kind of get it back down here on the left side a little bit more because I've got quite a bit on the right end of the canvas, which is okay. I'm just going to gently keep tipping it back and forth and try to get it to move down on the left end of the canvas a little more, which it's starting to come down a bit. And it helps too, the flood coat that you put on the canvas helps the paint to move as well. So you want to make sure that you're kind of generous with that so that when you do start moving, you've got things to help you move the paint along the canvas. So I'm just going to keep tipping and moving it down. And we're kind of stretching out some of those cells, which is okay. And I'm just going to let this paint kind of move down towards this corner. Just gently keep tipping it back and forth. And I am getting some stretch over here on the right, but that's okay because I'm not done yet. Just want to kind of get this going over here on this end. And then we'll start tipping it back the other way now that we've got it going. So now I just kind of want to start tipping it top to bottom and try to stretch that color out a little bit more. And we'll see if we can get it moving down here on the left end as well. The right end is looking pretty darn good. So now is when I would, like, you can see that I'm kind of severely tilting it to get my color to start moving and to get it to start stretching out. That's looking pretty cool, I think. And the other thing too is when you do stretch it out, sometimes you'll get some really cool patterns at the top and it kind of gives it that wispy look. So now it's just a matter of deciding, do you like how it looks or do you want to mess with it some more? And this is where people are watching this video and they're saying, oh my gosh, stop now, but I kind of want it stretched out a little bit more, and I also want to get rid of some of that white paint that I have pooling at the bottom. So I'm just going to go ahead and let that run off a bit, and then I'm going to let it go back the other way. And this is where I'm going to get some really cool wispy stuff on the bottom of it. And I really do think that putting the white in between there really made a difference and made it much softer. Okay, so that's looking pretty neat. I do want to try to get rid of some of this up here, so I think what I'll do is kind of tip it at a diagonal and see if I can get that to run off the ends a little bit more and see if I can get rid of that bubble of paint up there on the top right. And I think it looks really neat when you do a negative space to run the paint off of the edges so that when you're looking at it from the end, it looks really cool too. All right, so I think that's looking pretty neat. I definitely have it running off on this end, and it did start to run off on that end. So I'm just going to set it back down here. It is really a soft look, isn't it? Not usually my normal negative space pour that I would do, so I do think that if I were to blow on it, it would help to blow some of this wispiness out and possibly reveal some of the color underneath it. So I do think I do want to give that a go and see if I can pull out some more colors that are in there. Because I've got, the pink kind of took over, it looks like. So this is just a big straw that I have that I like to blow through. I don't like the smaller straw. I learned that kind of the hard way. It's a lot harder to get it to look wispy. So I'm just going to start down here on this end and blow a little bit. And I always start kind of gentle because it's very easy to blow your paint across. So and I kind of just try to go with like how it's already flowing. I don't want to try and change how the pattern is already. I kind of just want to enhance what's already going on there. And you can see as I blow how it pulls up more of the colors too. And it depends on where you blow. If you blow down here, it's going to pull these colors up into it. This is kind of pale looking to me, so I think I'll try and blow this up and over a little bit to get more of this color over there. I really like that blue, and I was hoping that would pull that blue up. Kind of amazing how much it pulls the colors out. So where it looks like super soft, it really has enhanced it a lot just to blow along the edge of it. And you can tell this is where I stretched it quite a bit, so there's not a ton of color right here. So I may just end up blowing some of this up a little bit too to make it a little bit brighter. I think that's looking really good. Kind of just blowing some of that white away so that it's not quite as soft in the center. And I really like my purples and pinks, so just kind of revealing some more of those colors and just to make it a little bit more interesting. All right, I think that's looking pretty nice along this edge. Now I'm just going to turn it so that I can do the other side a little bit easier. So make sure that I'm even on all my little holders here. And I'm just going to continue on this edge as well. And the paint's a little thin over here, so I'm not going to blow quite as hard there, and then probably concentrate a little bit more in the center area. That's looking pretty nice. I like that it's really soft, and when you blow on it, it also brings out some of the cells too. So definitely changes the appearance when you blow on it. I think that's looking pretty good. I like that it's like really soft and definitely a little bit different than what I normally do. There's a lot of nice cells that have popped up too. And all of the colors are showing, so I'm pretty happy with this. I think I'm not going to mess with it anymore, and we'll just set this aside and let it dry, and then it'll probably get coated with Liquitex varnish. So please let me know if you have any questions, and thanks again for joining me. See you later.